How to paint realistic galaxies. And why do some look like blue spirals and others like warm glowing blobs? Hi everyone, my name is Nikki. I'm an astronomer and I use observations of distant galaxies and supernova explosions to study the universe. I try to answer questions like how is dark matter distributed in galaxies and how fast is the universe expanding? And besides that, I like to paint. On this channel, I combine astronomy research with art, and I'll show you how to paint the most spectacular phenomena in the universe and explain the science behind them. And today, we'll start with painting galaxies. The universe is filled with these beautiful glowing collections of stars, gas and dust. The first galaxies started forming more than 13 billion years ago, very early in the lifetime of the universe. The process started by giant clouds of hydrogen gas clumping together under gravity and collapsing to form the first generation of stars. As time went on, these baby galaxies merged together, grew and evolved. They formed intricate spiral arm structures, which we think arise from gas and stars clumping together in waves of higher density. It's a bit like a traffic jam on a highway. As stars move through the galaxy, they enter these high-density regions, pile up and exit again. Gas that enters the spiral arms gets compressed and collapses into new, hot blue stars. The spiral arms get their curved shape because stars close to the center of the galaxy are rotating faster than stars further out. Let's try to capture that on paper. I'm using gouache paint because you can use light colors on top of dark ones and because it's easy to smudge out the paint and create an illumination effect. Start by filling the sky with black or another dark color. On top of this, we will add our galaxies. And it's important to know that there are two different types of galaxies, each with their own characteristic shapes and colors. The first type are spiral galaxies, which we encountered before, and which look bluish because their arms are full of hot young stars, which emit a lot of blue and ultraviolet light. We will use a mixture of white and blue gouache and paint them in rough spiral shapes, which we will blend out more later. But what happens when two spiral galaxies meet in a collision? They merge and the stars, gas and dust all get stirred up. There are many fantastic observations that show this process of merging galaxies in action. After the merger has settled down, the galaxy's spiral structures are destroyed. Much of the gas is used up or blown away, so star formation slows down, and eventually there's just a shapeless blob with all their stars left. These are elliptical galaxies. They're very massive and usually look red, orange or yellow because the older stars they contain are less hot. We'll use yellow here in our painting, and we'll mix in some white to make the paint more opaque so that it can cover the black. We add them to our painting in, well, elliptical shapes, and we also add some of the yellow paint to the centers of the blue spiral galaxies, because they often have older stars living in their hearts. Try to add them randomly, which is actually very difficult to create purposeful randomness, and make sure to vary their sizes and density. I'm leaving one region here a bit empty so I can add a larger galaxy there later. When you've added all your galaxies, it's time to smudge out their edges and make them glow. We do this by using a clean damp brush and gently stroke over the paint at the edges and mix it with the black background. You often have to go back and clean your brush to make sure that you're not moving the black all the way into the galaxies. And this process will take a while, especially the spiral ones, so be patient and hang in there. As a side note, we're currently living in a spiral galaxy, the Milky Way. But we are approaching our neighbor galaxy, Andromeda, so we may also end up in a merger and become one big elliptical galaxy. New simulations, based on data from Gaia and the Hubble Space Telescope, show that the chance of a merger in the next 10 billion years is around 50%. It's so cool that we can see all these stages of galaxy evolution out there in the universe and predict what our own fate may be. Next, I'm adding white paint to their centers to make them pop. And some random stars here and there. I'm using a toothbrush loaded with white gouache paint to splatter on the very small stars. and then a paintbrush to splash on the larger ones. In this empty region, I will add a nice big spiral galaxy that we can paint in a bit more detail. We repeat the steps from before. Blue paint, smudging that out until we have smooth spiral arms. Then we add yellow to the center for the older stars and blend that out as well. I'm also going back with blue and yellow to strengthen some of the features and add in some streaks in the spiral arms. Then I mixed a light purple from white, purple and pink to dot on the population of young stars living in the spiral arms. And finally, add some white again in the center for an extra bright effect. And that's it! We've created our own little patch of the universe. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please like and subscribe. That will help me a lot because I'm just starting out. And more tutorials are on their way, so stay tuned for that.